Imagine stepping back in time, maybe past the world of streaming services and local FM, to a place where voices travel across oceans on invisible waves. That's the surprising, incredibly vibrant world of shortwave radio. And today we're taking a deep dive into Europe's shortwave landscape for summer 2025. We're using the British DX Club's Europe on Shortwave Summer 2025 A25 guide as our map, really.
It's a fantastic resource.
It really is. Our mission basically is to cut through all that data to explore, which stations are still on air, where they're broadcasting from, why they persist in this digital age, and what unique stories they tell.
Right.
It's this fascinating blend of history, technology, and I think pure human connection.
What's truly captivating here, I find, is how shortwave endures. It's not just some dusty relic,
Right.
It often survives for very practical, very compelling reasons that, they challenge our modern assumptions about how information travels.
Yeah, you might think, why bother with shortwave when we have the internet? But this guide reveals a very different, very relevant reality for many parts of the globe.
Exactly. It reframes things.
That's a powerful point. It really does reframe our understanding of modern communication. So let's begin by looking at the major players, the public broadcasters, and how their presence on shortwave has shifted.
Okay.
Because over the past couple of decades, many national public broadcasters in Europe have, largely ceased their shortwave transmissions. We're talking about significant closures here.
Oh, absolutely. A big trend.
Austria's One International, for example, had its last broadcast in October 2024, and its Moosbrunn site closed just a couple of months later, December 2024.
Right. And Belgium saw RTBF International go off-air way back in December 2009, Radio Vlaanderen International in December 2011.
Croatia's Voice of Croatia stopped in January 2013, Denmark's Radio Denmark, December 2003, Finland's Radio Finland, December 2006, even Greece's Voice of Greece ceased shortwave relatively recently, June 2022.
And that trend just continues right across the continent. You've got Hungary's Radio Budapest, Iceland's RUF, Italy's Rai Internationale Radio, Latvia's Radio, Lithuania's Radio Vilnius, Luxembourg's RTL, Serbia's International Radio of Serbia, Sweden's Radio Sweden. All these major players have largely moved away from shortwave.
Yeah.
The general thinking, I suppose, was that the internet would simply replace it entirely.
Right. And many now focus on online services, podcasts, or satellite, like Radio Bulgaria with its Bulgaria Today podcast, or ERR in Estonia offering English news online. Makes sense on the surface.
It does.
But here's where it gets really interesting. While many have gone online, some major players clearly still see the value in reaching listeners via shortwave, especially in certain parts of the world. It's not just about tradition, is it?
No, definitely not just tradition.
So for a major nation, what's the actual calculus? Why maintain a shortwave presence today?
Well, it often boils down to geopolitical strategy, reaching areas with limited internet access, or providing an uncensored information channel where other media might be restricted.
Okay. Uncensored info, that's key.
It really is. Take Radio France Internationale, RFI. They maintain extensive daily broadcasts in French, Swahili, Hausa, Mandingo, and Fulani.
Wow, quite the list.
Primarily targeting Africa, using powerful transmitters from Issoudun in France and also Madagascar.
Powerful transmitters, you say?
Oh, yeah. We're talking 250, even 500 kilowatts. Serious power. And they even have a Vietnamese service via Taiwan.
Okay, so this shows shortwave isn't merely about reaching an audience. For many nations, it's a strategic tool.
Exactly. Maintaining influence, providing critical information where other channels are blocked, maybe even humanitarian outreach.
That's a crucial point. And Germany's Deutsche Welle is another example, right? It's still broadcasting daily in Amharic to the Horn of Africa and weekly in Arabic, called Sudan Now, to Sudan, using transmitters in France and Germany. So even in countries with high internet penetration like Germany, there's still this strategic shortwave presence.
Precisely. And Romania's Romania International, RI, is a fascinating case. They've had budget cuts, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, forcing them to temporarily suspend 2 of their 5 transmitters since August 2023. But despite that, they continue to broadcast in this huge range of languages: English, French, Spanish, Romanian, Chinese, Russian, German, Arabic, Italian, Aromanian, Ukrainian, Serbian, Hebrew.
Goodness, who are they targeting with all that?
North America, Europe, Africa, Asia. pretty global reach, and they even use DRM.
DRM, right, Digital Radio Mondiale.
Right.
What does that actually mean for the listener?
Well, it's basically a digital format for shortwave. So you get clearer sound quality, much more reliable reception, and you can even send extra data like text alongside the audio.
Ah, like song titles or news headlines.
Exactly, stuff like that. It's a really powerful evolution for the medium, kind of bridging the analog and digital worlds.
Interesting. And we can't forget Radio Exterior de España, REE. They mainly aim to serve Spaniards abroad, but the guide says they also offer limited content in Arabic, English, French, Ladino, Portuguese, and Russian.
Reaching Africa, the Americas, the Middle East, mainly from Nobleas in Spain.
And of course, the giant, the BBC World Service.
Can't forget the Beeb.
Their global reach is still substantial on shortwave, isn't it? Over 40 languages covering vast areas of Asia, Africa, the Middle East.
Yep. And they use various international relay stations, Oman, Ascension Island, Wolferton here in the UK, Madagascar, UAE, even Vatican City.
We'll get more into relays later.
Yeah.
And the BBC also uses DRM for English, right?
They do, yeah. It's all about ensuring access to information, especially critical news when other channels might fail or be blocked. It's still a lifeline for many.
Right, a lifeline. So we've seen the big state players, some scaling back, others holding firm for strategic reasons. But let's now turn our attention to maybe the real heartbeat of European shortwave.
The independents, the hobbyists.
Exactly. The incredible independent and hobbyist stations where passion truly drives the signal. This is where the power of individual dedication just shines.
It really does.
Take Acqui Radio Andorra, for example. Such a unique story. It's a historical tribute to a free radio station that famously resisted, pressure groups, politicians, and hostile states, including the Nazis, during WWII.
Amazing history there.
And they broadcast monthly from Kalkkrekel in Germany. They even have podcasts and a YouTube channel with restored archives and anecdotes from former presenters. It's preserving history.
What's truly insightful here, I think, is how shortwave's unique strengths, its accessibility, its resilience make it this perfect canvas for passionate individuals and communities to connect, even when they're operating on, shoestring budgets.
Totally,
Yeah.
like in Finland. The guide mentions a really vibrant scene there.
Oh, absolutely. Licensed private stations like Scandinavian Weekend Radio, apparently the first private medium-wave shortwave station run by volunteers, many of them radio amateurs or DXers.
DXers, right, the folks who love tuning in distant stations.
That's them. Then there's Real Mix Radio, Radio Ambience, which is the newest licensed one, Radio Blacksmith Knoll, doing unique public domain content, though awaiting a new license. Radio Pico, playing big band music at low power. It's quite a scene.
And it's not just Finland, is it? Germany seems busy too.
Yeah, Germany has a real variety of private operations. Channel 292 in Rohrbach-Wall, HCJB, with its 247 Christian programs from Wienermoor.
HCJB, I've heard of them.
Europa 24, Shortwave Radio, which is specifically non-political and non-commercial, and Shortwave Service in Kalkkrekel, which actually hosts other stations too.
A sort of broadcast hub.
Kind of, yeah. And the Dutch also have licensed low-power stations, Radio Casanova International, Radio Delta International, Radio Europe, Radio Piepzender, Radio Veronica, Rock Power Radio, all playing diverse music. It's this real patchwork of sound across the continent.
It sounds like it. Then there are the really niche programs serving specific audiences.
Oh, yeah, some really specific ones. The Mighty DC from the Netherlands. Great name, by the way.
It is.
They air rock and roll oldies and classic rock specifically for truckers across Europe. It's relayed by WRMI over in the States.
Trucker radio on shortwaves. Love it.
And Germany's Deutscher Wetterdienst broadcasts daily shipping forecasts. Really vital info for the Baltic and North Sea coming from Pinneberg.
Practical stuff.
Very. Then there's Radio Dark, produced by the German Radio Amateur Association, and Music for Joy, which does DRM music broadcasts worldwide via the Now and Transmitter site.
You mentioned niche programs. Is there anything particularly surprising or maybe innovative you found in that category?
Well, I thought Britasia Radio from the UK was pretty interesting. They're a British South Asian broadcaster, right?
Okay.
And they found this really innovative use for shortwave. They offer a weekly DRM transmission of Punjabi music, specifically targeting South Asia via the Wolferton transmitter.
Wow, using DRM to beam Punjabi music from the UK to South Asia.
Exactly. It just shows how, even in this digital age, shortwave finds new and incredibly specific purposes for communities separated by distance.
That's fascinating.
Plus, you've got all these independent, British-produced programs. Things like Encore for classical music, Groove Line for soul funk house, Jazz AM, Radio Ematok World Service, the Prog Mill for prog rock fans.
Frog rock on shortwave.
Why not? And Weekend Music Radio. Just shows the sheer diversity of content created by enthusiasts.
So what does this all mean? It's clear shortwave isn't just for governments anymore, not by a long shot.
No.
It's a canvas for passionate individuals and communities.
Mm.
And some of these stories are truly, well, wild, demonstrating incredible ingenuity, dedication.
Absolutely. And these stations, many operating at surprisingly low power, they form these critical links for specific communities. Or sometimes it's just for the pure love of radio, you know?
Yeah.
This goes to show there's always more to learn about the different ways people connect.
Okay, so we've covered the big public broadcasters and the passionate independents. Now, how do all these signals actually get where they need to go? Let's talk about the global web of relays.
Right, the infrastructure behind it all.
Because it's incredible to think how these signals traverse continents. This whole network of transmission facilities is pretty mind-blowing. These are the major sites in Europe and beyond that host multiple broadcasters.
Exactly. Shared infrastructure is key.
Like Issoudun in France, operated by TDF. That sounds like a major hub.
It is. It relays not just RFI, but also NHK World Japan, Deutsche Welle, and other international broadcasters. They even do irregular DRM transmissions across various shortwave bands from there.
Okay. And Nauen in Germany. Operated by Media Broadcast.
Now, and that place has history. It's actually the oldest existing transmission facility in the world, apparently, since 1906.
Wow, since 1906.
Incredible.
And today it relays a mix of international stuff and religious programming. Then there's Wooferton, here in the UK, run by Encompass Digital Media.
The last remaining UK shortwave broadcasting site, the guide called it.
That's the one. Relaying the BBC World Service, KBS World Radio from Korea, Radio Farda beaming into Iran, and lots of those independent programs we talked about. Right, and interestingly, Santa Maria di Galleria in Vatican City, the official broadcasting service of the Holy See, they also relay BBC World Service programs.
They do.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned earlier, the USAGM Voice of America relays from that site were discontinued following a decision in March 2025.
Yeah, I saw that. It shows that even with such established infrastructure, the landscape is always shifting, isn't it?
Constantly evolving. And the reach, of course, doesn't stop in Europe. European stations leverage facilities in other parts of the world, too.
To reach their target audiences, yeah. Like WRMI. Radio Miami International in Okeechobee, Florida.
WRMI is a crucial node for European broadcasters targeting the Americas. It relays Radio Prague International, Radio Slovakia International, Arte's Morning Ireland from Ireland,
Oh, interesting.
Radio Poland, and even that Dutch station we mentioned, the mighty KBC.
For the truckers.
For the truckers. And it's also notable that despite USAGM grant terminations, WRMI continues to broadcast a Russian program from Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty.
That's significant. It really highlights how these relay stations enable diverse voices to, well, bypass geographic barriers and maybe political censorship too.
Absolutely. Ensuring information can still circumvent obstacles. And extending even further, you've got sites like Dabaya in the UAE and Tashkent in Uzbekistan mentioned for relaying programs like WRN Russian, Radio Taiwan International, IBRA Media, FEBA Radio.
Extending the reach deep into Asia and the Middle East. It's like this secret handshake across continents.
I like that.
It makes you wonder, though, given how critical these international relays are, what happens when a relay site closes down or changes its programming focus? Are there always alternatives, or could a voice just go silent?
That's a really vital consideration. And yes, closures happen. We saw the USAGM scaling back, but the global shortwave infrastructure demonstrates this remarkable adaptability, I think.
How so?
Well, new relay agreements can often be formed, or stations might be able to shift to other available transmitters. Sometimes they find creative solutions. The underlying principle seems to be that the demand for these signals persists, especially among audiences who might otherwise be isolated. And that demand drives the ingenuity to keep the waves alive, one way or another.
That makes sense. Resilience and adaptation. Okay, so we've looked at the who, the why, the where, the how. But this guide also unearths some truly captivating moments in time. Stories that remind us of the deep human connection woven into these airwaves.
Yeah, some really nice examples in there.
These are the stories that truly bring this deep dive to life, aren't they? First off, some amazing annual events, like NDR Info in Germany. They send Christmas messages to seafarers worldwide on Christmas Eve.
Yes. Gressen board. Greetings on board.
That's it. Such a heartfelt program. They actually rent shortwave time specifically to reach those out on the high seas, far from home at Christmas.
It's a lovely tradition. And perhaps even more niche, but equally touching, is the BBC Antarctic Midwinter broadcast.
Oh, tell us about that one.
This is truly unique. It's a special program made for just a tiny number of listeners. The scientists and support staff isolated at British research stations during the Antarctic midwinter. Total darkness, completely cut off.
Wow. What's in the broadcast?
It features messages recorded by their family and friends back home, along with music requests sent in from Antarctica. It's this incredibly powerful reminder of the enduring human need for connection, even literally at the ends of the earth.
Gosh, that's amazing. It really is about so much more than just frequencies, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Thinking about history, the guide even briefly mentions Radio Umrang. Remember that?
Vaguely. Wasn't it from the North Frisian Islands?
Yes. A former annual broadcast from the German North Frisian Islands in their dialect, German and English. It's not on air anymore, sadly, but it's still listed in the guide as a just-in-case entry.
Which tells you something, doesn't it? About the hope that these signals might one day return.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember once, years ago, quite by accident, tuning around late at night and picking up this very faint signal. Turned out to be a classical concert from some small station in Eastern Europe. There was just this unique charm to that discovery, completely unlike finding something on Spotify.
That is the magic of shortwave, isn't it? That serendipity. And here's a truly fascinating historical echo from the guide. Poland's Transatlantic Radio Telegraphic Broadcasting Center in Warsaw.
Okay, what's the story there?
Built after World War I, it was apparently the second biggest in the world at the time. Powerful enough to reach North and South America.
Incredible.
The Nazis used it during World War II and then destroyed it right at the end of the war. Apparently, the detonation broke windows over 16 kilometers away.
Whoa. So it's gone.
The original site, yes.
Yeah.
But now, get this. The Military University of Technology in Poland is planning to reconstruct the transmitter as part of a museum project. And they plan to have a Mimovio radio station broadcasting shortwave programs to commemorate it.
Bringing history back to life on the airwaves.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
A really compelling bridge between past and present.
And for those who remember the heyday of shortwave listening, the guide highlights Media Network.
Oh, Media Network. Jonathan Marks, a legendary program.
From Radio Netherlands, right.
Huh?
A very popular weekly show from 1981 to 2000 focused entirely on international shortwave broadcasting. And thankfully, it's now preserved in the Media Network Vintage Vault online.
A real treasure trove for anyone interested in radio history.
All these stories, they really emphasize that enduring human need for connection and information. And how technology, even seemingly old technology like shortwave, adapts to serve that need.
Precisely. And we also see new voices emerging even now, like Echo Stilum and Echo Helsinki.
Right, targeting Russia.
Yeah, set up by former Radio Sweden staff, actually, as a reaction to Russian state censorship. They provide unbiased news about Russia and the war in Ukraine, broadcasting via shortwave and podcasts.
Using shortwave to counter censorship in the 21st century.
Exactly. These anecdotes, these stories, they aren't just details. They're really vital examples of knowledge being applied, of communication finding a way, often in extraordinary circumstances.
Well, this has been an absolutely incredible deep dive into the surprising, vibrant, and incredibly resilient world of European shortwave broadcasting. It's clear this medium is far from dead.
Indeed. Far from it. It's dynamic, it's evolving, it has this rich history, but also a surprisingly relevant present, still capable of transcending borders and digital divides, ensuring voices can still be heard where they might otherwise be silenced.
And it leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? As our digital world grows ever more connected, ever more complex, maybe, what forgotten technologies might unexpectedly reemerge to serve critical human needs, and how might they shape our future information landscape?
That's a great question to ponder. What else is out there, waiting for its moment again?
Something for you, the listener, to think about. We definitely encourage you to explore the fascinating world of radio yourself. Maybe even tune around the shortwave bands if you get a chance. You might just be surprised by what you find.